Compute the indicated limits at infinity. Okay, let's start with number 1. For that, I want you to recall the following fact. The square root of x squared is just equal to x if x is positive. We're going to use that for number 1. Now you may say, Professor, how could we know that x is positive for number 1? Well, look at this. X approaches infinity, right? X is a big positive number. You can think of x as 1 billion, 1 trillion, positive number, right? Good. So number 1 then becomes the following. Limit as x approaches infinity of 7x minus 2 over the square root of x squared plus 3. Now, we have a technique to deal with these limits at infinity, right? Which is identify the highest power on the denominator, which is clearly x squared, right? But notice this square root appears here. So we must divide both numerator and denominator by the square root of x squared, right? So this will be x squared plus 3 divided by the square root of x squared. And the numerator is 7x minus 2, must be divided by this quantity as well, right? But what is this quantity? Since x is positive, it's just x. So I'm going to divide this one by x. Okay, so let's do the algebra now. In the algebra here, x into 7x is just 7, minus minus, x into 2, 2 over x. Here, x squared into x squared. Don't forget the square root, it's just 1, plus x squared into 3, 3 over x squared, right? Now, notice in the limit, 2 over x approaches 0, right? Because x is huge. Think of a trillion into 2. That would be 0.00002, 0 in the limit, right? 3 over x squared, the same, right? Since x is huge, x squared big. So this goes to 0 in the limit. So what is left then? Well, this is going to be left. Limit as x approaches infinity of 7 over a square root of 1. It's just a constant function, right? A square root of 1 is 1, 1 into 7, 7. So this is just 7. Great. Now let's go ahead with number 2. For number 2, I want you to recall that the square root of x squared is equal to minus x if x is negative, okay? Now, again, you may say, Professor, how could we know that x is negative for number 2? Notice x approaches negative infinity now. It's very, very negative. We can think of x as being negative 1 trillion, something like that, negative, right? Great. So for number 2, then, we will have the limit as x approaches negative infinity of 7x minus 2 over a square root of x squared plus 3. That will be equal to, following our technique, remember, to the following. We identify the highest power on the denominator is x squared, but notice there is a square root, so we must include the square root, right? So we will have to divide the denominator by the square root of x squared, and the numerator, which is 7x minus 2, must be divided by this quantity as well, right? But this quantity, notice, is just minus x, right? Because x is negative. So we divide numerator by minus x. Let's do the algebra now. Minus x into 7x will be just negative 7, right? So here, negative 7. Minus x into minus 2. Simplifying, positive 2 over x here, right? X squared into x squared. Don't forget the square root is just 1 plus x squared into 3, 3 over x squared. Now, as we did before, this guy goes to 0. This guy goes to 0 in the limit, right? In the limit. So what is left? Well, the following is left. Limit as x approaches negative infinity of minus 7 over a square root of 1. The square root of 1 is 1. 1 into minus 7 is just minus 7. That is all. Thank you for watching. Please, more videos coming up.